We're back with your chance to ask Attorney Stewart Vance your legal questions live here on the air. That number to call, 420-9732. Again, that's 420-9732. Stewart, we're getting close to the end of the year. It's a great time to make that checklist, make sure you have everything in place from wills to insurance. Where would you say start with all of that?
Yes is the answer.
Yes.
Yeah, any place, any of those are good places. I met with a new client this morning and we had a discussion about wills, and I just renewed our firm's insurance, and so any place to start is always good. No matter what your age, if you're over the age of 19, a will is a good thing to have, and we talk about often a will coupled with a power of attorney and a living will. 3 items, 3 documents that are completely separate but should all be kept in the same place for any adult. It sort of determines what you want to have happen should something happen to you, and you know it's usually when you need them, you don't have them, it's too late. So then the state decides, and most folks don't want the state to decide what happens with their possessions.
Talk about the difference between those, the will, the power of attorney.
Yeah, the power of attorney is for someone who needs assistance. Maybe you have an elderly parent or a sibling that needs some help with bills and that kind of stuff, banking accounts. The power of attorney allows you to help that person, or you can assign someone your power of attorney that they can help you as you get older with those types of things. So that's while you're living, while you're trying to manage things. A living will is a directive as to what you want to have happen should you go into a hospital and become incapacitated. Hey, I don't want to be put on life support. That's the document that does that. And then finally, the will is only comes into play when you decease. So when you die, that's when the will is going to determine what happens with whatever you might have. If you want somebody to have your great-grandmother's ring, you better put that in the will, or the state's going to determine who gets all the possessions or all the money from whoever passes away.
The more detailed, the better.
Yes, yes.
Let's go to the phone lines now. We have Martha from Montgomery. Martha, go ahead with your question.
Okay. I wanted to ask, is it possible that you can have a power of attorney changed?
Yes, absolutely. All of those documents are only good until the next one is proper. So it goes by the latest date, properly executed document. So if you want to change your will, if you want to change your power of attorney, if you want to change your directive of what happens to you, as long as it's signed by you, notarized by you, and a witness, those are the requirements. Now, it could question if somebody's incapacitated when they became incapacitated. Maybe someone tried to influence them to change something after they were incapacitated. Those could be challenges. But yeah, if you're doing it for yourself, you can change it every day if you wanted to. But I wouldn't recommend it, because then it looks like maybe you're not incapacitated. Maybe you are incapacitated. But yes, your question is yes, you can.
Let's go to Thomas now, also in Montgomery. Thomas, what's your question?
When you have an injury attorney, how long does that take for the cases to last? When it's lasted over a year, do you inquire more to the attorney or go by their offices or what?
That is a great question. There is no magic number. We have cases, our average, we try to turn all of our cases over within 5 to 7 months. Some are quicker than that, and some are longer than that. So yeah, over a year is not unusual, especially if it's been filed. If you have to file a suit in the court system, it tends to slow things down. So yeah, and for whatever reason, cases can linger longer than that. I mean, we've had cases in our office that once they were filed, because of something going on in the case, it could take years. It could take several years because of something that has happened. But the basic question is very good. It shouldn't take that long. But your point about stopping by the office of the attorney, that's fine. Our clients are certainly welcome to stop by our office. A phone call should do that as well to get an update. And if you have a lawyer and you're not getting an update, I don't mean every day or every week necessarily, but if you aren't getting an update, you should be. So contact that law firm and have them give you an update of what's going on with your case.
Let's go to Charles now in Montgomery. Charles, go ahead with your question.
Hello?
Hey, Charles, if you will, mute your television. That way we can hear you clearly.
Okay. I'm working on it.
And follow up to that last question that we have, it's also important to remember that you only have so long to file that claim in most cases.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 years from the date of whatever the claim is about is just a baseline in Alabama. There's some exceptions, but if you just remember 2 years from the date of the injury, that is when you need to make sure that you've got that case filed in court, or you could never file that case.
Charles, go ahead with your question if you can hear us.
Okay, yeah. I'd like to know, I have given my son a notarized letter of proxy. I'd like to know if I have done the right thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. The notarized letter of proxy, typically that's for something specific. If you're going to be somebody's proxy to give them, a lot of times it comes in, I think of dividends or stocks or those type things. Each year a public company has to have stockholders vote on certain things, and so things get mailed out, and you have to sign it if you own a one share of a public traded stock. But a lot of times they have a proxy assigned that if people don't respond back, an assigned person is going to be able to vote for them. That's usually what a proxy is talking about. And yeah, so signing that over to somebody, that's absolutely fine. Those are still a little different than what we were talking about earlier with the power of attorney. A power of attorney is very broad. It can deal with any type of paperwork, banking, really signing anything that if you have the power of attorney of someone, you can sign anything for them that they would sign for themselves. A proxy is a little different. It's usually specific to some specific act or event.
Charles, thank you for calling. Some great questions, great advice
absolutely.
as always. For folks who didn't get a chance to call today, how can they reach you?
Yeah, we try to make it as easy as possible. Dial 3 for me, 333-3333. Go to you guys' website, WSFA.com or thevancelawfirm.com, and get your question answered here or online.
Stuart, great to see you as
Good
always.
to see you guys.